Hello. My name is Joanne Hewins. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I have a blog at lovetocreate.typepad.com. I'd love for you to check it out. I've got some great samples there for you to see, and I always include the directions. Today I'm going to teach you how to make this shaker card. It's using the Yuletide Village stamp set that's in the mini catalog. And I'm also going to be using a greeting from Sparkling Snowflakes. That is one that was carried over from last year at this time. So let me get started. We are going to be using paper out of the annual catalog, and it's on page 101, and you have to look carefully to see a little bit of this paper. It's called Winter Meadow, and it was one of our papers that we had last year in the September-December mini catalog, and they carried it over into the big catalog. It's a great winter paper. Now, because I've had this a while, I'm going to show you some, but I don't have every sheet that is out there because I've been using this. It's so beautiful. See what a beautiful wintry look that it has to it. This paper has a blue on the background. Here's one with some blue trees. And that does have a color from last year. I can't remember. It's one of the end colors that went out. This is a beautiful one, and on the back of it, oh, that looks like a pretty snowy background. This is the piece we're going to be using today, and it has this on the back. We're going to be using the back of this one. No, we're not, but there's, yes, we are. Yes, we are. So we'll be using this one, and then this is a paper that is in that pack as well that lends itself to just making a card and not having to do much else. So we're going to do this one. Let me get some of these other things out of my way. And I told you the stamp sets would be Sparkling Snowflakes for this sentiment, and then we're going to be using the church from Yuletide Village, but you know, you could use any of these, would be just fantastic for this card that we're going to do. We're also going to be using our clear envelopes as part of the card. That's going to help us make our shaker part, so we'll get to that in a few minutes. So we made this in class. I have a packet that I needed to make, and I thought, well, let's just go ahead and use it as a video. So we have first a piece of the thick basic white. It's cut at 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it here at 5 1/2. And you're going to take, you want to kind of, even though somebody has scored it, it's been scored by a person, it may not be perfect. So kind of look and check your corners and make sure everything looks right, and then use a bone folder to make a good crisp fold. Then I have cut this paper to cover the entire front of the card. I'm going to use our multi-purpose glue. Now, one of my customers that came to class used this side instead of the side with the trees, and it looked just as pretty, so that is something you might think about. And then we're going to sit that down. I want to match it at the top and at the side here, and then I'll pull it on down. I stuck a little piece to my hand there, but we're okay. And then I want to look at it on the other side. You can see that I cut mine just a tad larger than it might be needed, because you don't want that white sticking out. If you do have the white sticking out and showing beyond your designer paper, then you want to trim the card just a little bit. You can trim it and get, it won't matter if it's not exactly the size. Nobody's going to go back and measure. So there's the front of our card. We're going to take a piece of white, and I just cut this big enough to take the church. So I think it is actually 3 by 3 3/4. And we're going to take our stamp of the church. My stamp's pretty dirty. Not the stamp itself, but the block. I need to clean my blocks. And I'm going to get here it is, some of the Memento Black. When a stamp is kind of large like this, or on a large block, it's easier to ink it this way. So I've got that inked well, I hope. And we will stamp this. I'm going to kind of turn it. You want to make sure you have room for the steeple. You want your church to be straight. And then stamp. So I left some room for the snow down here at the bottom. Okay, so there it is. Could have been a little bit better. Let's stamp it on the back and see if we can improve on that. It just wasn't quite as solid as I thought it should be, but it was certainly all right. So if we mess this one up, we'll turn it back to the other side. Okay. This is photopolymer, so you can see through the stamp. Well, that looks about the same. So we'll just leave it as it is. And we're going to color, and I'm going to be using blends for my coloring. We're going to be using a light mossy meadow, the light and dark smoky slate, the light real red, and the dark daffodil delight. So I'll just go ahead and color. Some of these spots are kind of small. So I'm going to color all of this pretty much with the small end or the blunt end of the marker. So we got the wreath, and we'll come over and get this tree. Not quite sure what all to color on that, but we'll just, there's no right or wrong way. It's your card. You do it your way. All right, I think that'll get that. Now I'm going to get the red, and we're going to be coloring with the red this bow on the wreath. And this church is going to have a bright red door. I'm not really going to worry about doing any shading on this today. We're just going to color. Okay, so there's the bow and the door. We'll use this yellow Daffodil Delight for our windows. It's they've got the light on in the church. So what do you think about coloring? Do you like to color? I kind of really do, so there's that, and we're ready for our grays. So I'm going to take the dark smoky slate, and I'm going to do kind of the trim on the church with the dark. We'll do the steps. Oops. It really is hard to color on camera, those little things. I had a little oopsie there, but maybe we won't notice a lot. Okay, and now I'm going to finish up with the light gray, or smoky slate, I should say. And we're going to leave this snow as is. We'll do the little bit of the roof over here. Snow might just be beginning to melt a little. I think I'll just do that corner. And then we'll do the rest. Oh, I see a piece that I forgot to do with the darker. I'll just finish with this and we'll come back and get that. I really love the blends and how they kind of fill in all the little spots. And you might think when you first color it that it's not going to look that good, but it just kind of evens itself out and ends up looking really pretty. And because I went out of line up above, but I'm using the same, just the lighter color, it's not really going to be that noticeable, I don't think. Okay. That didn't take that long, did it? And we're going to go back and get the frame right here of this window. There. All right, I'm going to get a pair of snips. Now we're going to pretend that this line comes on out to the edge of the card. And then we're going to fussy cut. Now, I also like to fussy cut. I know a lot of people don't, but this church is really not that hard to cut out. Oftentimes I'll leave a little bit of a frame around, but for this one, I chose not to do that. I'm going to cut some of that extra off there. Okay. Now, if you really are opposed to fussy cutting, you could cut that tree off, but it's not that hard. A little hard to see, though. Okay, we're almost done on the home trick. Well, we are now done with the hard part. Okay, I just took that line all the way to the edge, and we're going to put this on our card here. Now again, I cut that a little bit wider than I need it. We'll go back and trim that in a minute. Now you want to be a little bit stingy with your glue. I'm trying not to have it real heavy on there. And then I'm going to take this, I'm going to line it up with the bottom of that paper. And then we'll just get that mashed down real good. And I'm going to trim off this little extra part. Okay. There we are. So there's our church. Now I took the clear envelope and put it in my cutter and trimmed that. Hold on just a second. Okay, so I put this in my cutter. I put it on 4, and I just cut that little top part off and use that for my shaper part. So that makes it pretty easy. Now the thing is, I wanted this, I've got a little bit of the blue sticking out there, so I want to trim that just a little bit. Okay, that should be good. So I want this to be tight. We're just going to slip that in and push it all the way down. Now on the blog post, I have the measurements of what, I cut each of these papers. So I'll have that. Actually, I'll put it on this video, and I'll put it on my blog post. And I'll put it on the video as well. So these are the loose white lace snowflakes. And I'm going to put those next in our card. And I'm going to kind of look at this. I see I've got a hair out there. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to kind of look. Some of my snowflakes I noticed were torn. And I don't really want those in my card. So I'm just kind of looking at those. Okay, those look pretty good. And then I'm going to put them on top of the picture of the church. And you can put as many in there as you want, or as few. And you can rescue these right here. There's one that's standing up there. Okay, I think I might need a few more. Okay. All right, so now we're going to take a piece of tape. Take a piece of tape. I'm going to fold this back, and I'm just going to tape it shut. Now it's on the back. Nobody's going to see. Okay, and so now it's going to look like that. Okay, pretty good. So let me get these snowflakes. You don't want to let your snowflakes sit open for very long, because you're going to end up having to pick them up if you do, because my elbow gets everything. So now I'm going to put some of tear and tape on the back. So I'm just going to put that all the way around. don't really want to overlap it. Just not needed. And I don't particularly care about tearing, so I usually use my scissors. Okay, and then we'll peel that off. Okay, and if you've got anything sticking out, you can just fold it back. And now what I want to do is very carefully put this in the center of the card. I usually pick up diagonal corners and kind of hover a little bit until I feel like I'm even and straight. Oftentimes I still don't feel like I was after I get it down, but I do my best. And then we are ready to do our saying. Now I'm going to be using embossing to do that. Stampin' Up! Has some new embossing powders. This is from the Basics. We're going to be using white Basics Wow metallic, or not metallic, Basics Wow embossing folders. So we're going to be using that, and we're going to use the saying from Sparkling Snowflakes, May the Season Sparkle. So I'm going to use an embossing buddy. This is in the toolkit that Stampin' Up! sells for embossing. So I'm going to get that. That's going to help keep the static on that. And then we're going to stamp this with Versamark. And I always like to do it this way. I feel like it doesn't get stuff around the edges quite so much. And we're going to stamp that. And then we will use the embossing powder. And I have put mine in a container. If you get that Additions embossing toolkit, it has a little thing for you to use. Now I've got extra on there. I'm going to try to get that off. Okay. Now always, another tip is always put your lid back on before you start using your heat tool, because you don't want that all over the place. So I'm going to get my heat tool, and I'm going to use some tweezers there. Here's our heat tool, and we get started. It's starting to change. It's melting that powder now. See how pretty that is? It just seems to jump right off of the paper there. And then I'm going to be using a label. And this is from the Autumn Leaves dies. I just love that this has some frames in there that work so well with the leaves. It's perfect for this. So I'm going to put this, I'm just going to do this off screen, and we'll cut that out. Okay, here we are. Isn't that pretty? And then we want to add that to the card. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on that. You could put some tear and tape on there if you wanted to. You could put some seal on there. And I'm going to also just take and put a couple little dots of glue on my tag. And we'll put a couple snowflakes on there. So I'm just going to lay it right here on the glue. And it will need a little bit of time to dry. And we'll put a small one. I really have enjoyed the white loose snowflakes. I've put them on several different cards that I've made. Okay, now we're going to put something on the inside, and let me see, did I not ever find something that I was going to put in there? We'll just put one of these. We'll just do winter greetings on there, and I'll take that off. We'll put winter greetings. And we'll do that in Pretty Peacock. Okay. Just put that right in there. That looks good. Now I'm going to pick this up and put it on there just to hold its place until I can get that put away. All right, so here we are, our two cards, and we have our little snowflakes shaker card and a beautiful church to go with it. So thank you so much for watching with me today. I hope that you will try to make a shaker card. If you do, send me a picture. I would love to see what you do. Again, I have a blog at lovetocreate.typepad.com. This card will be on there along with a link to the video. And I said, again, I'll have all of those measurements on there for you as well. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it so, so very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.